Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe. Yeah.
But
Doctor said I need less blood and I should stop drinking it.
you should stop drinking it. You have enough. Well, you know what?
Good.
For the paranormal news on this week's Werewolf Radar News episode, no vampires, no monsters. Instead, we have a UFO hunter that claims that new photos are definitive evidence that we are not alone.
Man, doesn't it feel like that happens so often? And
especially this year.
Oh yeah, this year's been wild. Big year for UFOs, but like it seems to happen so often that it's like people talk about disclosure and it's like it's been disclosed. There's so many videos out there and just nobody's buying it for some reason.
I think it's because we're all beat. If we're being honest, we're all tired and trying to just work and make money and live, fulfill each of our country's dreams.
Right.
And like,
I have an Oculus. That's
UFO.
That's the dream, right?
It is. It's your dream, and all of us have different dreams. My dream is holodeck, but we're not there yet.
Someday.
But I think unless the aliens straight up like land somewhere and go, everything's changed because we are now giving your government stuff to, do whatever. Healthcare is now taken care of because they have magical like Star Trek beams that heal, shit like that. Unless it's that, I don't care as well. But this case I found very interesting. This is from the New York Post, written by Brooke Cato, and takes place in British land. Dover, to be exact, the Dover countryside. And here is one of the first photos I'm going to show you. For those of you who are just podcast listeners, check out our YouTube so you can see these images as well. Is it still working?
Whoa, look at it.
Yes.
Looks a bit like a tank hit a huge kicker,
I do. Yes, I do. There it is. Very small speck. That's what I wanted to do. Very small speck in the background. Beautiful landscape photo, though. Look at that. Good foreground images, beautiful mid, the background full of trees. And one UFO, or as we are now guessing on Werewolf Radar, perhaps a tank doing an awesome kickflip.
Doing a sweet fucking method air. That's how you drive tanks, right? There's like a guy surfing on top of it, like in Teen Wolf.
There is.
Playing the bagpipes.
So a British UFOologist believes new photos of a foreign airborne object are among growing evidence that we are not alone. John Mooner snapped eerie images. We just saw one Monday. That would be Monday the 19th of a unidentified. Monday the 19th, of an unidentified flying object hovering over an English countryside in Devon. My bad, not Dover. Devon. That he claimed was an alien flying saucer. A glint of light instantly caught my eye as something metallic looking came from a cloud, Mooner told the Mirror. He reported the bizarre object had a force field emitting around it. As you can tell from that image. Let me show that again. Jordan, do you see the force field?
I don't really see a force field. There's like a lightness around it, but that could just be like artifacts from taking a picture. And it's so tiny.
I want to know how he knew to like blow that up.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm saying like definitive proof. I don't know, Jack.
We're still at the beginning. John said, I was completely gobsmacked by what I was seeing, continued Mooner, who previously claimed to have been abducted by aliens. So he's got other proof. He was abducted. I don't know what proof he took with him other than memories, but he knows. He's talked to him. He added, it was unmistakably a flying saucer with 2 black rectangular windows on the dome portion of the craft and 4 black openings along the bottom part of its structure. And that was the image I shared earlier with you, Jordan.
Yes.
Also, think about buying NYX professional makeup. It's apparently America's #1 gloss. And when you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, these are the ads you get.
Sure.
But here are the 2 rectangular black windows, 4 black openings.
I guess so. I also have 4 black openings. They are fathomless.
It's interesting. They're definitely darker in 4 spots. I don't know if they're openings from this photo. And the top part this all, I assume, like you said earlier, are artifacts from the lack of resolution when you blow it up this large.
I'd just like to go back to that for a second. That makes it sound like I have 4 buttholes, like like one of those 4-shot derringers. And I'd like to confirm that. That's true. One for weekday stuff, one for holidays, one for pranks, and one that's just for farting.
Efficient. You're kind of like a cow, but with your butt.
Exactly. And if I do them all at the same time, it sounds like a train whistle.
Upon closer inspection, the blurry image, which Mooner claims sped off in the clouds at 1,000 miles per hour.
1,000? He is hitting it with a radar gun?
There was a plane flying 300 right next to him. He's like, that's about 1,000.
Sure, fair enough. My first take on this is that it's pretty flimsy. My second take is, yeah, that seems to be something up there. My third take seems to be, it looks kind of janky, right? It almost looks like a tugboat. Like this is like the tugboat of UFOs. Like it's all square. It almost looks like somebody's porch that they built themselves.
There is a different image up there that, give me just a moment and I will put into Photoshop and we'll blow that up as soon as Photoshop wants to load. Let me go on though. I was excited, said Mooner. I continued to monitor the area with the hope. I continued to monitor the area with the hope of sighting this incredible craft once again. Then minutes later, I accidentally got the chance to see it again, and it swiftly shot out from the cloud.
I mean, if this person is to be taken at their word, this is surely a crazy encounter. Like that shit is all wild what you're saying, but like all we have is your word. If we're going on this picture, I'm not wowed. My wow gland is at like a 3.
Fair enough. Let's jump into Photoshop. This is one of the images. Okay. I hope it's coming up proper.
It is.
Let me just blow it up.
I mean, this is more convincing than the picture that he had.
I think I blew it up too much.
That looks.
It's weird. It looks. Yeah. It has the traditional UFO shape.
Yeah,
when you go in, but it's
like
so
almond-like, or like a pod, or even a blimp.
It's so far away that when you blow it up to a proper, actually
I mean, it's moving.
legible sense, it looks like it has movement. It's very UFO shaped.
It really is. And
Once again,
this is kind of one of those things that I was talking about, where people are constantly showing us images of UFOs, but there's this lingering doubt because of all the bullshit out there. And if you're putting bullshit out there, fuck you. Fucking stop. I know that you're having a good time with your fucking suck buddies and your shit friends, but cut it out. We're trying to do real science here about frogmen and lizard lances. I don't know. I just get mad when people are like, "Ooh, I got a fun club where we fake Bigfoot sightings."
Like, because people
don't do that,
believe,
please.
and it's like when people mock any person's belief structure, to where like there's no reason to do
Thank
that.
you, Janet.
They weren't bothering you. Let people believe what they want. If you're not hurting anyone,
muddy the waters.
let people believe stuff. We have our beliefs that we talk about every week. Share it with your friends.
I went to Loch Ness recently.
Yes.
And I didn't talk about it a lot because there was an element of me being made to feel foolish for wanting to go there. And I took some decent pictures, didn't go into the gift store because everybody was like, we just want to get out of here. And it's a beautiful fucking loch. It's amazing. And they couldn't be less impressed to be there. And it was really shitty. Like, it was a shitty thing to do, to be like, your thing is foolish. The thing that you take delight in, you believe in monsters. And it's like, no, I don't. I just think that there is a long, and well, yes, I do. But I also think that there is a long historical mystery here that awakens some sense of childlike wonder within me. And if I am to feel like a bozo for that, then I think that your life sucks.
It's okay to have whimsy. Don't stomp on people's whimsy.
Let me have the whimsy.
But let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
So he said, this time, however, I only captured the underside of the saucer craft. Here is this photo of the saucer craft's underside. And once again, it's very like, I guess it's something. But definitive, that's what he calls it. He says this is absolutely genuine. The alien presence is real, and we are not alone. Mooner said that he also spotted an alien craft at the Tarby Air Show this month, surmising that aliens must have a base in the English Channel.
Okay, that makes sense.
He believes they only have good intentions and watch over us.
They have good intentions.
They have good intentions. The article, yeah, they're not here to rule us. They're here to help us, Jordan.
Interesting.
By just observing us and not giving us the cure to various things that would help. Anyway, that's besides the point. Aliens, you do what you do. The article ends by saying this isn't the first so-called proof that foreign creatures are visiting Earth. Footage of suspected UFOs continue to emerge every so often, as we just discussed, and we probably know from the news, specifically recently this year, Navy footage of various UFOs that they can't explain. One of them that the article mentions is a sighting at a California military base last month, an alleged alien landing in Las Vegas, which was our news last week, and an unexplained object in the sky at King Charles III's coronation in May. So that is some very interesting, more interesting anecdotal evidence of, Jordan, I don't think we're alone.
I mean, it's starting to feel less and less like that.
but it's getting less impressive as you said. Like last week we had a lot of fun. Aliens came down. It was a little bit of a Roswell moment. The world was abuzz.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
and
fun.
They fucked off again.
And then they fucked off again.
I am starting to think that aliens aren't, and I mean, I don't want to say that they aren't smart, but
Sure.
I'm starting to think that they don't possess the level of creative intelligence that we think of when we think of like connecting with another species.
Sure.
Like it almost feels like their interests are so alien from ours that like if they mean us well, like they wouldn't help us, you know. It would be like the idea of us taking an interest in an anthill and being like, oh, I've got to help these ants cure ant cancer or whatever. I have to give them an ant generator.
When you say it like that, I guess, yeah.
And it's like maybe they don't have such things as literature. Maybe they don't write stories or imagine things outside of mechanical and metaphysical realities. You know, they are beings of pure science to the point where you'd be like, hello to them. And they'd be like, what are you trying to communicate? Is it an equation?
Fair.
And you're like, I love to eat this food. And they're like, I get an injection of all the proteins I need once a month. What do you mean? You enjoy it? You enjoy the biological processes? We hate them.
To be honest, that could honestly be one of the least talked about theories of UFOlogy that makes a lot of sense.
And maybe it's like the type of thing where we're like, hey, we want to meet you. We want to, you know, combine our resources and create something new. We want to bloom into this massive mega Earth that can become a class 2 society and use our sun for energy. And they're just like, oh, we don't want to do that. That's not what we're interested in. So, no. Like I remember when the whistleblower thing came out and he was talking about
Gorsh or something.
Yeah. He was talking about the creatures that they find in the manned crafts. And he's like, imagine trying to talk to your stupidest relative about something that they have no idea about. And like trying to explain it to them. And it's just because like our ways of thinking are so different that like they're massive, like transspatial intellect for a knack for making these things and understanding the quantum mechanics of the world is like that's where they're focused, whereas we're focused in a world of emotion and art and social interaction
interaction.
And they're just like, no, we don't need any of that. Like there was a story that he told about like they managed to get them to agree to not take any more people because they were taking people for whatever reason. It was like he describes it as like a zoo. Like there's these people on the bottom of the ocean who may be from Earth. They might be Earthlings in a strange way, just living on a different dimensional frequency. And they come and they want to see what we're up to because it's like, look at what the people do. Isn't that strange? Look at how they work. And like every once in a while, they want to take one to put in a museum or to dissect or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the government got in contact with them and was like, hey, you can't do this anymore. We'll make a treaty. And they were like, okay. We'll make a treaty. I suppose we've agreed not to do this. And then like 20 years went by and they started doing it again. And when they were confronted about it, they were just like, oh, well, when we made the treaty, it was beneficial to us and now it's not. So we just didn't. And like, we don't care about that treaty anymore. Like they didn't have any concept of like upholding a deal or their side of an agreement.
And why would they?
Right.
They can travel the stars. Like they have technology so advanced to where like we couldn't penetrate the softest hole they have for space travel.
Yeah. And like, it was like, it was almost like it's not like they're arrogant or they think that they're better than us. It's just that it didn't make sense anymore for them to not take people. They were just like, but we need them. It was like, but you said you wouldn't. Right. But we need them now.
Yeah, we need them now. So
now we do. Now we do take them. And it wouldn't even be like, sorry. They're just like, that's just what's happening. We're taking them. If you can convince us, if there's a reason not to take them, then okay. It seems like so logical.
And this could be, as the story says, still in their eyes helping us.
Sure. I mean, they're just doing the thing.
Seeing what's happening to various people and then trying to make changes subtly on our planet. Stuff like that.
Also from the chat, Janet Bravo, hearkening back to something we said earlier, don't listen to the naysayers. The wonder in your soul is worth more than their boring pragmatism. They can't see Nessie because they aren't worthy of her beauty. Tattoo that on my back, Roger. When I'm eventually dragged from the lock, ranting and raving because I've seen the beauty of Nessie.
Okay, so let's wrap up this article. So NASA recently has confirmed that there are at least 800 sightings of UFOs spanning nearly 3 decades.
Dang.
However, in their eyes, only 2 to 5% are actually unidentifiable events of aerial phenomena.
And the rest are like birds, blimps, balloons, clowns, etc.
Exactly.
Clowns that, got caught, like their balloons got too big, and they're like, oh, I'm taking off from the ground. Somebody help me.
Back in the 30s, most UFO sightings were just clowns. They were performing at kid shows, and they were like, you know what always gets the kids? Me floating, and then it's 16 balloons too many, and then they're off in the sky. And the helium mix
back then was way more potent, and there's actually a clown shield in the atmosphere where it's just corpses of thousands of clowns surrounding the Earth in sort of a cage of clown meat that every shuttle, every space mission has to punch through the clownosphere because of all the floating dead clowns up there.
And we're going to talk about
Wait a minute. The boson layer.
And we're going to be talking about the bozo layer next week. But that wraps up Werewolf Radar's paranormal news for this week. A UFO hunter is claiming that new photos which he took very recently in the Devon countryside of England are definitive proof that UFOs are still coming down. We need answers, people. This is it.
Says this is it.
If you
believe him?
Do you believe him? Let us know. On our Twitter, you'll see our pinned tweet is always the episode. Let us know there what you think about it. We also have a YouTube. Watch that. See the photos. Let us know what you think there.
What's your hot take? What's your final take?
What's your hot take?
What's your verdict on this? I'll give you mine right now. Mine is I think you saw something. Definitive proof.
Outrageous claims, or this isn't the proper quote, but outrageous claims require extraordinary evidence. I think extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Yes.
And this is one of those cases to where, like, for me to give a shit in like the way I, more than just doing a now 20-minute podcast episode about the news.
Yeah.
For me to like call off of work.
Yeah.
I'm going to need the UFO to land and say, and not like it did in Vegas, like land in a parking lot without crashing, or fuck it. Even if it crashes, I need to see bodies.
Yeah. The aliens need to get out. do a little dance, and then collapse from the germs latent in our atmosphere.
Just like the true ending, the cut ending of War of the Worlds when it was still a musical.
And
they
I would
do a
like
little jig and then die.
And I would like that Herbie Hancock song to be playing. Is it Rocket? Bum, 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 bim, bum, bum, dum, ba-dim, bum, bim, bum, bum, ba-dum.
Everyone, if you like Herbie Hancock, think about giving us Werewolf Radar a 5-star review. Anywhere you can. You got Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Who knows where else you can listen to music or podcasts?
Plus, Chombo, Vision, Crunch Ear.
These are all great places. We also have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Discord. Go to
we got a Discord.
Go to our YouTube page. Follow that link. Join our Discord where we share all sorts of paranormal fun.
We
movies,
stream
video
our
games.
thoughts live to Blorpo.
Yep. We're always streaming our thoughts live to Blorpo. Blorpo is the only one that gets it. And sooner or later, he will divulge what we tell him. We sometimes share those secrets as well on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/werewolf_radar.
That one's real.
Follow that every Monday, D&D, sometimes just video games, multiplayer and solo, all of them.
And check out my profile on bonezone.freaka. It's a site for people who want to collect and build a giant skeleton mech out of bones.
It's a good community. There's some bad apples, but a lot of good ones as well. People trying to defend you from the bad apples building their bone mechs. But
that's true.
The community has to get together to build the bone mechs.
Gotta build them.
That's what it demands. And I think that no, you know what? If you really like us and want to support us with a small financial donation, go to our Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfradar, where you can give us like $5 a month, get extra episode every week whenever Nate can dust off the nuggets. They're called grave nuggets. Check those out. You also get paranormal merch for that tier. You get a nice little mini poster of some awesome art that Jordan drew. I believe it says "Fuck off, ghosts are real."
Yeah.
And it's a little ghost giving you the finger. Perfect for your mantelpiece. You could show it off to your parents when they come over for the holidays.
Yeah, and when they're like, ghosts aren't real, you point to it. You tap the sign.
Think about it. $5 donation to the radar so it stops drinking our blood.
Hell yeah.
It also pays for hosting fees and a number of other things that podcasts need to pay for in this capitalist hellscape.
Yeah.
Why can't we just podcast for free? This is all fun. Anyway, that's for our other podcast, Werewolf Comrade Radar, something like that.
Roger's solo project. It's all live on ham radio.
And it's probably the best thing I've ever done. Now let's end this craziness on the count of 3 with our super duper secret sign off line from one Dylan Gutierrez, Dark Council member extraordinaire. You can also suggest various things to us if you become a Dark Council member through our Patreon, just like Dylan Gutierrez did. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Suspect the void,
space person, whomever.
Imagine that. If it's true, then you understand you've been lied to. Boss